most important thing you can buy in GTA Online. So today we're going to go over the top 10 vehicles that you need to own. For a vehicle to be on this list, it needs to either help you make money, keep you alive, or both. So let's go. At number 10, knocking the Avenger off from this slot last year, we have the Terabyte. Honestly, the Avenger and the Terabyte have gone back and forth for a few years now for the number 10 slot on my list, but with the upgrades that the Terabyte got in 2024, this one is making it this year. So why is the Terabyte so good? Well, on top of it just being an insanely armored vehicle, like this thing can take 34 rockets before it's gonna blow up, the changes that Rockstar has just made to it completely changed the uses that you can have for this vehicle. You could always kind of operate your businesses from the touchscreen in the back of the Terabyte, but now you can put a master control terminal here, which means you can operate almost all of your businesses from this one portable vehicle that you can move anywhere on the map. On top of that, it's got a vehicle workshop in here for your Oppressor Mark II, which we'll get to later in the list. You can also now add a silent running module to put you off the radar when you're inside, which can be incredibly useful, as well as a missile lock-on jammer. So not only can this thing tank 34 rockets, now people can't even lock onto you. If you're inside this thing, it's gonna be pretty much impossible for you to die. You add all of that on top of the fact that this is a hub for all of your businesses. Yeah, it definitely deserves a slot on this list. Oh, and did I mention you can just hop in the back whenever you want and lose the cops instantly? Yeah, that's pretty useful as well. At number 9, still well and truly deserving of a spot in the top 10, is the Armored Kuruma. This vehicle is amazing for a number of reasons. First one is it's only $525,000 with the trade price, so it's the cheapest vehicle on this list, which of course is going to make it great for beginners. But even if you're not a beginner, this is still one of the most useful vehicles you can own. Now, no, the Armored Kuruma can't tank any rockets, so anyone trying to grief you with explosives will be able to kill you. That's the one downside. Outside of that, it's all upside. The windows in the Armored Kuruma are basically completely bulletproof. There are a few angles where you can still get shot from, but personally, I rarely find myself taking any damage. For some reason, even though the bullets are mostly bulletproof, you can still shoot out of this thing, which makes you very, very hard to kill, not only in PvP, but mainly for PvE content. And speaking of PvE content, this is going to be, I would say, a top 2 vehicle that you can complete missions in. Most armored vehicles you cannot actually use in missions, contact missions, heist preps, any of that, but the Armored Kuruma you can, which makes it incredibly useful and a vehicle you should own. Now I just want to jump in here as well and add that an alternative to the Armored Kuruma is the Duke of Death. This is actually free for a lot of players who are returning to the game. It's a very similar vehicle. It's not quite as bulletproof as the Kuruma, but it's about 90% as bulletproof. So if you can't afford the Kuruma, this is a great alternative. Okay, back to the video. At number 8, very, very similar to the Armored Kuruma is the Night Shark. Now, if you wanted to, you could substitute the Night Shark out for the Insurgent Pickup Custom, but this list is mainly going to be focused on solo play, and in that aspect, the Night Shark slightly takes the edge. The Night Shark can tank around 20 homing missiles, so it's going to provide you a lot more protection than the Armored Kuruma. Just like the Kuruma, it can also be used in missions, which is incredibly useful. And again, just like the Kuruma, the windows are almost 100% bulletproof. Now, I do have to emphasize that they are almost bulletproof. If a player shoots you at the right angle, they will 100% be able to kill you much more easily than they would in the Armored Kuruma with bullets. But for PvE content, you are gonna be mostly, almost completely bulletproof. The Night Shark is definitely one of the best vehicles for free mode as well in terms of countering Oppressor Mark II griefers, and overall, it's a lot of fun to drive around. Okay, moving up the list to number 7, we have a vehicle that has fallen a lot since last year, and that's the Toreador. The Toreador is essentially the Stromberg Mark II, if you're familiar with that vehicle. It's a rocket-powered car that can shoot some of the best homing rockets in the game. Like, seriously, look at the footage on your screen. These rockets track so aggressively, it's wild. It can tank a handful of rockets before it's gonna blow up, and it's a submarine car, so it can go underwater and be stored in your Kasaka submarine, so that provides it a lot of utility. This is absolutely one of the best cars you can drive around in free roam. The only reason it's dropped on this list from last year year, where I think it was at number 3, is because you can no longer use this car in missions. This was the best vehicle to use in missions, so that's pretty disappointing, but overall, still a really good vehicle and one of the best counters to the Oppressor Mark II. At number 8, we have the Acid Lab. Now, technically, the Acid Lab isn't really a vehicle. The Acid Lab is what's stored in the back of this vehicle. The vehicle itself is called the Brigade 6x6. However, you don't actually need to buy a Brigade 6x6 to get the Brigade 6x6. Is that confusing? I feel like Rockstar made that really confusing. In order to unlock this vehicle, you need to complete the 6 first dose story missions. From there, you'll be able to buy the Acid Lab for $750,000 inside the Freak Shop. Once you have the Acid Lab unlocked, you can call it to you whenever you want through your services menu, and this vehicle can tank 48 rockets. Yes, 48. That basically means no one in free roam is going to be able to actually blow you up. If they want to kill you, they're going to have to shoot you. And even then, that's going to be somewhat difficult because the windows are bullet resistant. They'll take a handful of bullets before the glass will actually break. So even if they do shoot you with a gun, you're going to have a fighting chance and likely the opportunity to kill them before they can kill you. It's genuinely wild that a vehicle like this exists, because not only is it way more durable than a tank in free roam, it's also got a business in the back of it with the Acid Lab, which can make you over $60,000 passively an hour. Overall, an incredible vehicle and well deserving of its spot. At number 5, I'm going to go with a relatively new vehicle, the Raiju Jet. This is very expensive, $6.85 million, but it actually has knocked out the vehicle that was in this spot last year, the Akula Helicopter, which is just a helicopter version of the same vehicle. Let me explain. The Raiju Jet is the fastest jet in the entire game, so it's got that going for it. But it's also a VTOL, which means you can take off and land vertically. So for grinding missions, this means you can just put it in VTOL mode and land it almost anywhere. Makes it great for making money fast. But really the main selling point of the Raiju is the fact that it can go off the radar. Just press right on the D-pad and you are off the radar to everyone in the lobby whenever you want. So if you're in a public session and you want to grind out your businesses in peace, just press this button and no one will see you. Also, no surprise, going off the radar makes this a very good PvP vehicle because of its survivability. So not only is this one of the best vehicles to help you make money fast because of how fast it is, but the survivability with the off the radar feature is also really helpful. At number 4, we have the infamous Oppressor Mark II. And yes, even though a lot of people hate it because it's a flying bike that can do everything, it still is really good, so we have to put it on the list. Now this one got a massive price increase, so it's now worth $8 million without the trade price. The trade price will bring that down by a couple million. And the Oppressor Mark II has also copped a lot of nerfs in the past few years. It can now only shoot 20 rockets. The rockets don't track as well. They still track, but just the tracking is pretty bad. It's also got a cooldown on when you can spawn it in again after it's been destroyed. Despite all of those things going against it, the Oppressor Mark II is still really good. And it might still even be the best vehicle in the game for grinding. Any business mission in the entire game where you have to go to a certain location, the Oppressor Mark II is not going to let you down. It's tiny, it can get in really tight, nimble spaces. You can park it absolutely anywhere. You can also spawn it right next to you, which helps a lot. Yeah, it's really just the most convenient vehicle in the entire game, so it still deserves a spot really high on this list. At number 3, I kind of want to include a whole category of vehicles here, and those are the Amani Tech vehicles. But if I had to pick one or two, it would be the electric vehicle variant of the Amani Tech vehicles, and I'll explain why. Unlike the rest of the Amani Tech vehicles, which take 4 RPGs to blow up, the electric vehicle ones take 12 RPGs to blow up. Is this intended by Rockstar? I actually think it is. I think their reasoning for it is because it doesn't have a normal combustion engine, it's not going to explode as easily. So for that reason, the electric vehicle ones, so the Omnis EGT, the Virtue, the Buffalo EVX, those ones are gonna tank more rockets than the rest. But let's talk about overall, why are the Amani Tech vehicles so good? Well, the reason for that is because they can get a missile lock-on jammer. That's right, with the Amani Tech vehicles and a missile lock-on jammer, no one in the lobby is gonna be able to use homing rockets on you, whether that's from a vehicle, a rocket launcher, none of it. They're actually gonna have to aim and hit their shots. It's going to take some skill. And even then, if they do use their skill to take you out, like I said, with the electric vehicles, it's going to take 12 RPGs. The only trade-off to the Omnis EGT is, unlike the rest of the Amani Tech vehicles, this one isn't going to have bullet resistance windows. So that's a trade-off you're going to have to choose. Do you want more explosive resistance or a little bit more bullet resistance? It's up to you. Personally, I'm going to take the explosive resistance, which is why most of the community considers the Omnis EGT better than the rest. Now, we should also mention that at the end of 2024, Rockstar added 50 new vehicles that can now get Amani Tech capabilities. They went back and changed 50 vehicles, making them infinitely better than they were before. At number 2 is the Sparrow. This helicopter is stored in the back of your Kasatka submarine, and this thing is awesome for grinding money. The main reason for that is when you're running the Cayo Perico heist, being able to store this helicopter in the submarine makes your setup missions just so much quicker. On top of that, it's also the fastest helicopter in the game, and on top of that, you can spawn it right next to you whenever you want through your Kasatka menu. Are you ready for it? On top of that, that's right, this vehicle keeps getting better. In mid-2022, Rockstar added countermeasures to the Sparrow. It didn't have countermeasures before, and even then, it was still one of the best vehicles in the game. So now if someone tries to attack you while you're in your Sparrow, you're gonna still be able to have a fighting chance of getting away. The Sparrow, like most helicopters, can be kitted out with homing rockets, unlimited homing rockets as well, which is nice. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of this vehicle. It's the best helicopter for making money in the game, along with being the fastest. So this vehicle well and truly deserves the number 2 spot. Editor TGG jumping in here with another note. Just before we get to the number 1 spot, I do want to put some honorable mentions in, mainly for some underrated vehicles like the Tampa and the Chernobog. So if you like the look of these, maybe do a bit more research into them, but mainly I wanted to talk about the Hokuchu Drag because I couldn't find a spot for it on the list. Now this vehicle is only really good if you're on PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X and S, because this is the vehicle you're gonna want for your HSW time trials. It's the fastest bike in the game, and with the HSW upgrade, it makes these time trials an absolute breeze. So if you're on those platforms, use this vehicle every week to do your HSW time trial, that'll get you 250k, and also use it for your normal time trial each week, which will get you 100k. Okay, let's go to the number 1 spot. And at number 1, still after all these years, or 3 years, is really not that long, is the Kasatka submarine. Why? Well, like the Avenger, the Kasatka is also a service vehicle, which means it's not just a vehicle. This is the vehicle you need to start up the Cayo Perico heist. And even though it seems like at least once a year Rockstar tries to nerf the Cayo Perico heist yet again, it's still just the best way to make money in the game. Even with a massive cooldown now of almost 3 hours between heists if you do them solo, and a massive pay decrease as well, you can still make over $1 million per heist, making this the best way to make money in the game, and the Kasatka is the vehicle you need to do it. So we'll wrap it up there. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more stuff like this, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!